Operation Noob Tube. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, today we're back in Bad Company 2, as we were at the start of the week. I've been playing this game so much more than I thought I would be right now, and it's kind of filling a gap between the end of Final Stand and when we get to find out a little bit more about Battlefield 4, and I don't really think I've played this game as much as I have right now, unless it was the current game at the time. So I think the last time I played this much Bad Company 2 was back in 2010 when the game was the main Battlefield game. And I've been having a really good time playing it. And it's kind of brought back some really good memories. And of course you always remember something being much better than what it actually was, because when you go back to something you think, oh, this is going to be amazing, you remember all the good times. I'm still going through the motions with that at the moment, but there are some things that are starting to creep in that are kind of getting on my nerves that I now remember did actually annoy me in Bad Company 2. And I'm showcasing one of those right now, and that is the Noob Tube. It can be really infuriating, but it can be really fun to play with. So I kind of just wanted to talk about it because there were some hints that we could have seen a return like this within Battlefield Hardline. That seems to have been negated, which is a good thing, but I just kind of wanted to talk about it a little bit because it's not always great going back to a game that you think was amazing, and this is one of the things that probably would really annoy me if this was still the current Battlefield game. So, just to give you a brief overview, when you played as the Assault class within Bad Company 2, you didn't have access to defibs and medpacks, no. They were with the Support class with the heavy LMGs, which I would probably argue was the best class within that game because you had unlimited health and you could revive people, just like you can with the Assault class in Battlefield 4. What you had in Bad Company 2 was an Assault player with their Assault rifle, with the underbarrel attachment as standard as their first piece of equipment, and the fourth piece of equipment could actually be C4, which I thought was quite cool. But the third piece of equipment, you had the option between a 40mm grenade launcher, a 40mm shotgun round, or 40mm smoke. So there were three different options, and naturally most people went for the Noob Tube, and that's because it was so powerful. And the recharge time on the ammunition was so low that all you really had to do was kind of stay in one position if you're defending on rush, and you had a really good overview of the MCOMs as I'm doing right here, and you can just kill loads of people with the Noob Tube, and it became really infuriating to be on the receiving end of that. If you were the one firing the Noob Tube though, you were going to have a whale of a time, because as I said, they were really powerful, really good. You could reach so far across the map with them, and they did the same amount of damage no matter how far you fired them. So it could be a really good experience or a really bad experience. It only becomes even more infuriating when you realise that the Assault player has access to the ammunition crate, because of course the Medic crate is with the Support class. So the Assault guy is the one responsible for laying down the ammo on the battlefield. And of course if you stand next to one of these ammo boxes, you're going to continuously refill your grenade launcher, which meant if you stood around a couple of them, this is how the system used to work in Battlefield until it got patched in Battlefield 4, which was only fairly recently actually with the grenade fixes, that if you stood next to one or two ammo boxes, they would sort of overlap each other for the amount of time it would take for the ammunition to go back into its empty slot after you'd run out of something, and that meant that you could infinitely fire them, which is why it became so annoying. So having the Assault class with an infinite grenade launcher might have seemed like a slightly better alternative than having like the med packs and the defibs on that class, because as we know, the Assault weapons in BF3 and BF4 anyway were, or still are, the most powerful weapons. In Bad Company 2 it seemed like a good system, but playing it again, it's really not a good system at all. And the reason I mentioned Hardline at the start is because they were going to employ this system for Battlefield Hardline. In the original beta, the Engineer class still had access to the RPGs, which they now don't. They now have the grenade launcher, the M320. That was still on the Operator or the Assault class within Hardline, and for a while they did switch the Assault to have the ammo pack, which would have meant we would have been back in a Bad Company 2 situation where you would have had infinite amounts of grenade launcher spam going across all the way over the map, and it would have been really infuriating. So coming back and looking at what was a really good game, which I thought was quite balanced, when you come back and look at it in full and you start playing with some of these clearly, obviously glaring issues, which just weren't fixed. It kind of gives you an oversight of that each Battlefield game has always had its problems. I think a lot of people, including myself, look back at Bad Company 2 as being one of the best games in the franchise. I would still argue, for me, it is my favourite game within the franchise. Hardline has given me hope that it's another spin-off, so I'm kind of looking forward to that, and I'm really hoping it gives me the same sort of feel, but it's not always as good as you remember it to be. And that's kind of something that I've come to realise over the last week of playing Bad Company 2, that yes, it's a fantastic game, but it still had those glaring issues that we expect to have in every single instalment of the Battlefield franchise. I just listened to that back. I said a lot of things in about 5.5 minutes, so forgive me for going on a little bit, but it was kind of just me reminiscing a little bit because, well, who doesn't like playing some of their favourite games from the past? Let me know if you picked up Bad Company 2 during the Black Friday sales, because I've been having a really good time and I've noticed the player numbers are still really high. And I said that in the last video that I did. It doesn't seem to have changed. There are still plenty of servers out there that I can jump in. But let me know what you think about the video today. It's a kind of a weird topic. I mean, do you remember it being as bad as I think it is, or do you remember it being not such an issue for you? Let me know down in the comments. But that is the end of the video today, so thank you very much for watching. If you could leave me a rating, that would be greatly appreciated. But until next time, my name is Westy, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.